Okay. Hey, Rachel, I'm ready. Think. Oh, I think it's.
Delaney, I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay, well, good afternoon. We welcome you to the Cox Softball Complex on the campus of Central Methodist University for a doubleheader with Peru State. Quentin Norris singing the Catbird seat. Central Methodist 31-3, ranked number 3 in the nation. They are 12-0 in the conference. We're taking on Peru State 4-34, 1-13 in the conference. Yesterday, Central Methodist swept the doubleheader from Park University. Won the first game 10-1 and then 7-0 in game 2 thanks to a no-hitter by Hallie Ferris there as well. And also yesterday, Peru State lost both games of a doubleheader to Baker University. They lost the first one 13-0 and then the second game 7-0. If you look at the hitting numbers, leading the way for Central Methodist, it is Madison Roberts, 436 hitter, 126 RBIs. For Peru State, that's Macy Green, 349, no homers, 5 RBIs. Pitching-wise, Haley Cotter, 5-2, with a 1.39 ERA, 8 walks and 37 strikeouts. Emily Vanetta, 0-7, with 6.90 ERA, with 18 strikeouts as well. Of course, the upcoming events here at Central Methodist and on the national sports scene, of course, Central Methodist baseball, they're playing a doubleheader right now against Missouri Valley. They're leading right now 3-0 in the top of the third inning down at Indian Foothills Park in Marshall, Missouri. Of course, the second game will start at 3:30 p.m. Of course, St. Louis Cardinals take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. They'll start around 3 o'clock. And then, of course, at the end of 2 periods, you got the Seattle and St. Louis Blues tied at 1. Also tonight on Sunday Night Baseball, the San Diego Padres take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Also, tomorrow on the NHL Network, you got the NHL game. The Boston Bruins take on the Washington Capitals. Of course, Boston coming off a 6-4 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. That was a fun little ball game there. Of course, watched that game last night in Pittsburgh. It was a good game there as well. Of course, Pittsburgh, I think Boston's still on top in that Atlantic division there as well. And I think they could be a top 3 seed matchup heading into the Stanley Cup playoffs starting in 6 days. On Wednesday night, Toronto takes on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has clinched at least a wild card spot there. Toronto is still in the hunt there. And one thing about Tampa Bay, they are a team you want to keep a sharp eye on for. They could probably most likely be the number 7 seed and could play either the New York Rangers or maybe the Boston Bruins in round number 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And then on Thursday, the NHL season closes out with Seattle taking on Minnesota. That's a 6 p.m. start time as well. Of course, baseball, they're on the road at Atchison, Kansas, take on Benedictine. 12 noon start time as well. Softball, they'll be taking on William Penn for a 1 p.m. doubleheader as well. Also, that Saturday is, of course, the Stanley Cup playoffs. Of course, we don't know the times yet, so I'm thinking, of course, that they'll be on ABC, ESPN, TNT, and TBS, True TV. And I'm thinking the first game of it probably will start around 11 o'clock or so. I think ABC will have maybe the first 2 games of the playoffs. And then next Sunday, of course, baseball will be at Benedictine for a 12 noon doubleheader there as well. Softball will take on Grandview in Des Moines, Iowa at 1 p.m. That should be a fun little series there as well. And then next Sunday is the Major League Baseball Sunday night game of the week, the Texas Rangers and the Atlanta Braves. And then next home game, that's Autumn Dixon being recognized as one of the seniors. They'll be taking on Missouri Valley at 3 p.m. 2:45 pregame shows there. Of course, upcoming standings, you got Central Methodist 12-0, 31-3. Benedictine number 2, 13-3, 33-7. Grandview 10-4, 26-9. Missouri Valley 10-4, 16-18. Baker is 10-6, 25-11. The number 6 spot, Mid-American Nazarene 9-7, 22-18. Number 7 spot is Graceland 7-7, 22 and 15. Mount Mercy 6-8, 18 and 18. Park 5-9, 15 and 15. William Penn 4-10, 15 and 23. Culver Stockton is 4-12, 13 and 27. Clark 3-11, 13 and 17, and then Peru State 1-13, 4 and 34 all together. Peru State is head coached by Renetta Klossner, assisted by Jacqueline Gray. For Central Methodist, their coach is Pat Reardon, assisted by Gene Reardon and Addie Reardon, Morgan Wilson, and Madison Sicardo. Of course, it's senior day. Of course, that's Gary Linhart announcing today's starting lineups. Emily Vanada. That's Kalina Oots in center field. Casey Jolly. That's Elizabeth Palumbo. That's Madison White. Joe Kreider. Madison Roberts. Lauren Hill. Natalie Guerrero. Daly Garden. That's Hallie Ferris. Ely Ferris.
Almighty God, you have created us to strive for our best. Please grant all athletes, coaches, and fans the strength to pursue excellence during this event. We pray for the safety of these athletes and ask that you protect them from injury and harm, and help us to honor you in all that we do, on and off the field, and make us witnesses to your glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Starting lineups and then prayer, national anthem. Quentin Norris here today. And of course, we'll set the defense for you. Sponsored by Commercial Trust Bank. Out in left field, that's Casey Jolly. Out in center field, Kalina Oots. Out in right field, Daly Garland. Third baseman, Joe Kreider. That's shortstop, Madison White. Their second baseman, Natalie Guerrero. First baseman, Elizabeth Palumbo. The catcher is Lauren Hill. And there you look at Hallie Ferris. He is 10-1 with a 1.82 ERA, 22 walks, 67 strikeouts. Of course, yesterday threw a no-hitter against Park University. And now, could she join Johnny Vanderveer as the only players to throw back-to-back no-hitters? Johnny Vanderveer did that in 1938. The second consecutive one was against the Brooklyn Dodgers. That was also... That's Leanne Hawkins up the batter. 275 hitter, no homers, 5 RBIs. We're about ready to get started, and as Ben Scully used to say it on NBC television and the voice of the Dodgers, let's pull up a chair then and get ready for some softball, or most notably at the Butler Cabin for the Masters Golf Championship, where Scotty Scheffler leads the way with a one-stroke lead, teeing off just about 20 minutes ago. The pitch is high, came at 1:56 p.m. Temperature, it's 77 degrees. The time and temperature sponsored by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at Kansas City International Airport. Fouls it off. Strike one. 1-1 to count. On Leanne Hawkins from Temecula, Nebraska. 1-1 pitch. Fouls it off there. 1-2 to count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. The 1-2. A little pop-up. That will go out of play. Just to increase the tension. 1-2 the count. Started at 2, but we started about 4 minutes early, which that's okay. 1-2 pitch. It's the ground ball. Base hit there. So leadoff single. And here's Jessica Filkin. Filkin. First pitch. There's a strike. 0-1 now. A little delay on the strike call there. 0-1 the count. Filkin from Wisely, Kansas. Oh, there's a ground ball. Palumbo's only play is the first, not in time. So now it's first and second now. Let's see how they're going to score that one there. It's an error, probably on the second baseman. Here's Ellie Oldie. 327 hitter, no homers, 13 RBIs from Fairbury, Nebraska. So 2 on, nobody out. First pitch. Lays down a bunt. Her only play is the first. And the second baseman makes the play by Natalie Guerrero. So 1 out now. And moves up to second and third. So a sack bunt, 1-4. Now here's Autumn Dixon up there. 179 hitter, no homers, 2 RBIs from Stillwell, Kansas. Of course, she was honored before the starting lineups. First pitch. And that's a strike call. 0-1 to count. 0-1 now on Autumn Dixon. There's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's a strike there. 0-2 now. Two and one to count. 2-2 pitch. Fouls it off to the screen. 2-2. Infield in. Second and third. Hawkins at third with the single. Filkin reached on an error. 2-2 the count. 2-2 pitch. Fouls it off. Still 2-2. Just to increase the tension. 2-2 the count. Second and third. 2-2 pitch. Foul ball. Still 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Autumn Dixon. 2-2 pitch. High pop up. Let's see who calls for it. And that's a foul ball. Still 2-2 the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Autumn Dixon. Stillwell, Kansas. 2-2 to count. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 call. So 2 outs now. Here's Jamie Manns up there. 250 hitter, homer and 13 RBIs. Even though on the program it was 20, now it's 27 from Fairbury, Nebraska. Here's the pitch. That's inside 1-0 to count. Alina Babb is on deck. The 1-0. Inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Now, it looks like Lauren Hill wants to talk it over with Hallie Ferris just to try to go over the scouting reports there. Great crowd starting to file in here at the Cox Softball Complex. Mostly around the center field area. You wonder, maybe one of the fans could do like what Hilda Chessie used to do when she used to attend games of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Used to give notes out to Carl Ferrollo, and then Carl Ferrollo would give it out to Leo DeRocher. 2-0 pitch. High pop up, and that's a foul ball. 2-1 now. Of course, the challenging part of today, of course, they had the Dodge and Duck trolley cars around Fayette. 2-1 to count. 2-1 pitch. That's 3-1 now. 3-1 to count on Jamie Mons. 3-1. Fouls it off. 3-2 now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Another softball comes into play. Of course, Hallie Ferris had a great visit with her. Told her congratulations on that no-hitter against Park. Of course, for me, that was my 19th career no-hitter. Now ball 4 now. Now the bases are loaded full of Bobcats for Alina Babb. 258 hitter, no homers, 1 RBI from Malcolm, Nebraska. Ferris needs to settle down, talk to the softball, point to Lauren Hill. There's a strike call, 0-1 now. Oh and 1 to count. Swing and a miss. 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. On Alina Babb. Wouldn't it be sweet we get out of this with no runs? We'll tell you about it in a minute. Ball 1, 1-2 to count with Kylie Weiss on deck. One and 2 to count. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 call. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 3 left on. We head to the bottom of the first inning. It is no score. We'll go ahead and set the defense for you there. Sponsored by the Exchange Bank. Jamie Mons is in left, out in center field. And that is Leanne Hawkins out in right field. It is Kaylee Harsh at third base. Elena Bob down at shortstop. That is Ellie Oldie down at second base. That is Kylie Dickman down at first base. Autumn Dixon, their catcher behind the plate. That's Jessica Filkin. And today's starting pitcher is Emily Van Natta. She is 0-7 with a 6.90 ERA with 18 strikeouts there. So you got Kalina Oates, who is one of the seniors being recognized. Out in center field, Casey Jolly's in left. That's Elizabeth Palumbo at first base. Madison White's at short. Will also be recognized in between games. Joe Kreider's at third. Madison Roberts, DP. Lauren Hill is the catcher. Natalie Guerrero is at second base. Daly Gardner's in right field. And you see Pat Reardon heads out to the third base coach's box. Kalina Oates, a 402 hitter, no homers, 10 RBIs. Of course, They had the bases loaded, 2 outs, but Elena Bob struck out. Oots from Kansas City, went to Staley High School. That's inside. That's a ball. 1-0 to count. No homers, 10 RBIs. 1 of 5 seniors being recognized. The 1-0. 2-0 to count. Trying to do like the great Maury Wills used to do for the Dodgers. That was when Maury Wills was with the Dodgers, he was the master of laying down the bunt play by the old where you run up and bunt. 2-0 pitch. And it's a strike call. 2-1 now. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. 2-1. Lays down a bunt. That's a foul ball. Foul ball. Yeah, it went out of the, touched the home plate area, and it's 2-2. 2-2 the count on Kalina Oots. 2-2 pitch. Slaps a base hit there down the right field line. Oots will stay at first. No, she's thinking 2. And she's in there. Oh, that's a good hustle there by Kalina Oots. Wasn't sure she was going to make it, but she made it with a double. Here's Casey Jolly. 404 hitter, 12 homers, 33 RBIs from Nampa, Idaho. I'm sure her mom, Teresa, is listening in. Teresa, if you're listening, and I want to say hi to you from Fayette, Missouri. And it's a ball call. Hopefully we may get an NHL Expedition game be played in Nampa, Idaho. Probably the most popular match would probably be Seattle. Probably taking on, there's a ground ball to first. First baseman has it, goes to the bag for the out, and Oots heads for third. Does her job perfectly. Moving that runner to the third for Elizabeth Palumbo. 430 hitter, 4 homers, 33 RBIs. From Sterling, Illinois, around the Chicago area. I want to say hi to her mom, Suzanne, who I remember just over a month ago bought me a cake, a chocolate chip cake from Sterling, Illinois. And I still enjoy that cake there, Suzanne. So, 0-1 now. There's the curveball inside. 0-2 now. On deck is Madison White. Oh and 2 the count on Elizabeth Palumbo. Outside, 1-2 now. 1-2 now on Elizabeth Palumbo. Where's number 23? Like another famous 23. Don Mattingly. Hits the ground ball. They'll go to the back. They throw it home, but Oots stays put. So 2 outs now for Madison White. 366 hitter, 3 homers, 22 RBIs. Of course, I had a great visit with her mom, Taryn, from Rockbridge High School. First pitch to her. She's one of the seniors being recognized. There is a ball inside, 1-0 to count. On deck is Jolie Kreider. The 1-0 pitch. There's a strike. 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike on Madison White. 1-1 pitch. Oh, it got away, but the catcher makes a big save there. For the count of 2-1 now. 2 balls and a strike. Jolie Kreider's on deck. Central Methodist ranked number 3 in the polls. 2-1. Outside, 3-1 now. 3 balls and 1 strike on Madison White. 3-1. ball 4 now. So 1 out. So a 2-out walk. Here is Joe Kreider. Kreider is a .364 hitter, 4 homers, 30 RBIs. From Eagle, Idaho, around the Boise area. Would it be sweet we have an NHL game be played in Eagle, Idaho? Along with Casey Jolly's favorite neighborhood of Nampa, Idaho? Possible matchup could be Colorado, Seattle, or that team that'll be transferring to Arizona. Team in Utah. It'll be interesting if they're going to keep the same name, the Coyotes, or they may change to a different name heading into the 24-25 season. 0-1 now. That's outside, 1-1 now. Madison Roberts on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oots is at third with the double. Went to third on the ground out by Jolly. 1-1 pitch. That's high, 2-1 now. Madison White reached on a walk. 2-1 to count. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 pitch. 3-1 now. 3-1 on deck. 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 now. There's a strike. 3-2 now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. First and third, no score, bottom of the first inning. 3-2. Hits a little roller. First baseman has to hustle. Not in time. Good hustle there by Joe Kreider. Oots scores to make it 1-0. And White heads the third. So it's a base hit, RBI. As Madison Roberts up there for Joe Kreider. That's 31 RBIs there. There's Madison Roberts. 436 hitter, homer, 26 RBIs. Came in as the team's leading hitter. First pitch from Elkhart, Illinois, and a strike call, 0-1 now. So 1-0 lead. White, with great base running, moved the third. The 0-1 pitch is a ground ball. Shortstop has it, and they throw over there. Steps on for the third out. So 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. And they leave 2 on. We head to the top of the second inning. Central Methodist 1, Peru State 0 on the Hart Conference Network.
Bales takes this shot, whips it in, and it's in the back of the net!
One run, 2 hits, and an error for Central Methodist. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for Peru State. There's Kylie Weiss up there, 120 hitter, no homers, 3 RBIs. From El Dorado Springs, Missouri. Allie Ferris with a 1-0 lead. There's the first pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 1. 0-1 to count to Kylie Weiss. The 0-1. High pop up. That will go out of play, and the count is 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes on Kylie Weiss. What Norris on the catbird seat. The 0-2. Missed that one just a bit outside as Lauren Hill tries to frame it. And it's 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1-2. High pop-up. That will go out of play. And the count is 1-2. Beautiful day, 77 degrees. We have some Dodger blue skies over the Cox softball complex. Well, it feels like I'm at Dodger Stadium sitting in the press box where the great Vin Scully used to do their games at. 1-2 pitch. Bounces up there, 2-2 now. With Kylie Dickman on deck. 2-2 the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch. Lines a shot. Oots makes the catch. There's out number 1. Hit that on the button there. But Oots is there for out number 1. Here's Kylie Dickman. .184 hitter, no homers, no RBIs. She is from a town of Holton, Kansas. First pitch. That's a ball. 1-0 to count. With Kaylee Harsh on deck. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1. As Kurt Gowdy would say, that is called reaching back for something extra. 1-1 pitch. Oh, nice job there. 1-2. Kaylee Harsh on deck. 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Number 4 on the day. 2 quick outs now for Kaylee Harsh. 222 hitter, no homers, 3 RBIs. From Kearney, Nebraska. First pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. 1-0 pitch. There's a strike. 1-1 now on the inside corner. On deck is Leanne Hawkins. 1-1 to count. 1-1 pitch. A swing and a miss. 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. 1-2 pitch. Misses that one, or as Ben Scully would say, that is called a showcase pitch. Trying to get the batter to swing and miss out of the strike zone. 2-2 the count. High pop up. Alumbo. Oh, makes a catch. No, she didn't. I thought she was going to be like Willie Mays back in Game 1 of the 1954 World Series, where he made a catch over the shoulder off the bat of Vic Wertz. Two and two the count. When you first see Hallie Sarah, she reminds me of another great pitcher, the great Tom Seaver. 2-2 the count. 3-2 now on Kaylee Harsh. 3-2 the count. Remember, Peru State had the bases loaded and 2 outs, but Elena Bat struck out. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 now. And here is Leanne Hawkins. She singled her first time up. First pitch. High pop up. Strike 1. 0-1 now on Leanne Hawkins. 0-1 the count. Oh, 1 pitch. Strike. 0-2. Oh, 0-2 the count. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left. Bottom of the second. Central Methodist 1. Peru State nothing. On the Hart Conference Network. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for Peru State. 1 run, 2 hits, and an error for Central Methodist. There's Lauren Hill, 357 hitter, 3 homers, 23 RBIs from California, Missouri. Of course, her dad is Brian. I'm sure I just saw him just a few moments ago here today. First pitch to Lauren Hill. Fouls it off, strike 1. Oh, and 1 the count. Central Methodist in the black uniforms, green trim, green numerals, birds on the bats. The 0-1 now. Ooh, way inside. 1-1 now. Oh, she was hit by a pitch. I think they got her on the foot. Here's Natalie Guerrero. 2 for 5, no homers, no RBIs from Austin, Texas. Her cousin is Pedro Guerrero, the 1981 World Series MVP for the Dodgers. He was also the starting outfielder when they won in 1988. Oh, 1 the count. The 0-1 with Hill on first. That's outside, 1-1 now with Daly Garland on deck. 1-1 the count. Hill's at first. She was hit by a pitch. The 1-0. Ooh, inside. 2-1 now. Two and one the count on Natalie Guerrero. 2-1. Hits a little chopper. Pitcher has it. Her only play is the first. The throw in time. Yep. First baseman scoops it out. So 1 out, and Hill's at second now for Daly Garland. 250 hitter, no homers, 11 RBIs from Woodridge, Illinois, around the Chicago area. Hill's at second, was hit by a pitch. First pitch to her. There goes Hill, the throw not in time, and a stolen base. Now the runner's at third, and all you have to do is put the ball in play. As Don Drysdale used to say that a lot. And that will bring home a run. Infield in at the corners. The 1-0. Strike, 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kalita Oots on deck. One and 1 to count. The 1-1. Hits the ground ball to first, and there's the third. There's out number 2 there. And Lauren Hill stays at first. Stays at third base for Kalina Oots, who doubled her first time up. Oots doubled down that right field line. First pitch. Tries to steal home, and there's a strike. Ball kind of gets away, but not far enough to advance Lauren Hill. 0-1 to count. Oh, 1 to count. The 0-1. Outside, 1-1 now. 1-0 lead for Central Methodist. Trying to go for win number 32. Most importantly, 13-0 in the conference. 1-1 to count. The 1-1. It's a little chopper to the pitcher. Throws over the first, and they do get her. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on. We head to the top of the third. Central Methodist 1, Peru State nothing. 1 run, 2 hits, and an error for Central Methodist. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for Peru State. There's Jessica Filkin up there. She grounded. She reached on an error her first time up on a sack bunt. That's Fort Worth. Strike 1, 0-1 the count. Yep. 0-1 the count. Outside, 1-1 now. 1-1. Quentin Norris here from the Cox Softball Complex, shivering with its concrete foundations. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2. 1-2 the count on Jessica Filkin. 1-2 pitch. Strike. Oh, 2-2. I thought it was strike 3, but the home plate umpire says sorry. 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Or as Sil Rizzuto would say on the New York Yankee television network, she wasn't watching. Ellie Oldie drew a sack bunt her first time up. First pitch. High pop-up. 0-1 the count. Oh and 1 the count. The 0-1. Ooh, way outside. 1-1 now. One and 1 to count. The 1-1. Outside, 2-1 now. Autumn Dixon on deck, where she was being recognized right before the starting lineups. 2-1 pitch. Oh, nice job on the inside corner. Or as Joe Garagiola would say on NBC television, that is called framing the pitch. Here's a ground ball. Gets past Madison White in the center field for a 1-out single. Second hit of the game for Peru State. Here's Autumn Dixon. She struck out her first time up.
First baseman, number 13, Autumn Dixon.
Dixon at the bat. Oldie's at first with the single. There goes the runner. Fly ball. Oh, couldn't get to it. Is Jolly. And I have a feeling that's going to be a base hit all the way. No question about it. So now, first and second, 2 and 1 out now. Here's Jamie Mann. She drew a walk her first time. Ferris needs to settle down. Talk to the softball. Point to Lauren Hill. High pop-up. I think Palumbo. Guerrero. They'll go to second to take the sure out. Yeah, that is the correct call. And Oldie hits the third. That'll be a fielder's choice. A fielder's choice. 1-6. Elena Bass struck out her first time up. First pitch to her. Fouls it off, strike 1. So if you're keeping score, it's a fielder's choice, 1-6. Oh and 1 the count. First and third, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Oh, and 2 the count. Ground ball to Ferris. Throws over to Palumbo for the third out. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We head to the bottom of the third. Central Methodist 1, Peru State nothing.
Bales takes this shot, whips it in, and it's in the back of the net!
One run, 2 hits, and an error for Central Methodist. No runs, 3 hits, and no errors for Peru State. As Casey Jolly up there, she grounded out the first, moved Kalina Oates the third. Pat Reardon heads over to the third base coach's box. We don't have anybody in the first base coach's box. First pitch. That's a bit high, 1-0 to count. Oh, that's Addison Reardon making the return there. The 1-0 pitch. Fouls it off. 1-1 now. One ball, 1 strike. Palumbo, then Madison White. The 1-1. That's high. 2-1 now. 2 balls and a strike. On Casey Jolly. 2-1. Here's a base hit for Casey Jolly. Throw over the first, but not in time. Third hit of the game for Central Methodist. And now Elizabeth Palumbo. She grounded out the first base her first time up. Tied with Casey Jolly for RBIs with 33. First pitch. There's a strike call. 0-1 the count. On deck is Madison White. 0-1 the count. The 0-1. Little chopper foul. 0-2. Jolly's at first with the single. The 0-2 is outside, 1-2. Madison White is on deck. 1-2 the count. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 call. So 1 out now for Madison White. She drew a walk her first time up. First pitch to her. It's a little pop-up. First baseman calls for it, and there's out number 2. So 2 outs now for Joe Kreider. Reached on an infield single, drove in a run. That gave her 31 on the year. Here's Kreider. First pitch. That's a ball. 1-0 to count. On deck is Madison Roberts. 1-0 to count. Jolly's at first with 2 outs. There's a strike. 1-1 to count. 1-1 to count. One ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. That hit her. So now it's first and second. Second time we have seen a Central Methodist player get hit by a pitch. Madison Roberts reached on a fielder's choice her first time up. Jolly's at second. Cryer's at first. That's a ball outside. Roberts came in today's doubleheader. Team's leading hitter, 436. 1-0 the count. 1-0 pitch. Inside. 2-0. Of course, Royals are playing the New York Mets. We'll probably give you a score on now. 24 minutes. St. Louis Cardinals take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. 1-1. Looks like count is 2-1. 2-1 the count on Madison Roberts. 2-1 pitch. It's a little chopper up the middle. Nice time. It gets in there to center field. Look at the hustle by Casey Jolly. She scores to make it 2-0. Good hustle there, especially with 2 outs. A base hit gives Central Methodist a 2-0 lead. And for Madison Roberts, number 27 on the year. Lauren Hill was hit by a pitch her first time up. Kreider's at second. Roberts at first. First pitch to her. That's a bit outside. 1-0 the count. 1-0 the count there. 1-0 the count. The 0-1 now. It's a high fly ball. Right fielder. She won't get to it. It's off the wall. Cryer will score. Here comes Roberts. She scores. It is now 4-0 on a double by Madison Roberts. Her 28th of the year. For Lauren Hill, it's a double. Roberts 4-0 Central Methodist. And for Lauren Hill, that's 25 RBIs on the year. And here's Natalie Guerrero. She grounded out to the pitcher her first time up. How's it going there? Going fine. Keeping things in line? Going back home for the summer? Now what town is that?
England.
Oh, in England? Which area of England?
Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
4-0 Central Methodist. The first pitch to Guerrero. It's a fair ball. Oh, that's a foul ball just by an eyelash. Just by an eyelash, ladies and gentlemen. 25 RBIs on the year for Lauren Hill on the double. Guerrero grounded out to the pitcher. The 0-1. There's a strike. 0-2 now. 4-0 lead there. 3 big runs. Single by Roberts. Scored Jolly. And a 2-run double by Lauren Hill scoring. Kreider and Madison Roberts. It's the ground ball to the shortstop. Throws over the first for the third out. So 3 runs on 3 hits. No errors, and they leave 1. We head to the top of the 4th inning. Central Methodist 4. Peru State nothing. Now, how far are you going to be from where Tottenham Stadium is?
Like 4 hours.
Oh, really? Are you going to be in the same area where they have the Major League Baseball game in London, England that's coming up in June between the Mets and the Phillies?
4 hours away as well. That's all down south.
Oh, really? I'm sure you've heard about that one. That's going to be fun. Huh? No, probably watching on TV. No, I know. The only people I would know of there'd be Ron Darling. And Ron Darling, who does the play-by-play for the New York Mets, along with Gary Cohen. I could tell you that. 4 runs, 5 hits, and an error. For Central Methodist, no runs, 3 hits, and no errors for Peru State. As Kylie Weiss up there, she lined out to Colina Oots. First pitch to her. And it is a ball. 1-0 on Kylie Weiss. Quentin Norris here from the catbird seat. 1-0 to count. Hits a fly ball to left. Here comes Jolly. Makes the running catch. There's one out there. Hit that on the button there. And there's one out now for Kylie Dinkman. She struck out her first time up. First pitch to her. Tries the bunt in the air, and that's a foul ball. Right to the screen there. From 42,412, millions are watching on television across the world. 0-1 the count. There's a strike. 0-2 now. 3, 4. 0-2 the count. Misses out one. 1-2. That's just to increase the tension. 1-2 the count on Kylie Diekman. 1-2 pitch. Little liner. Oh, what a catch by Joe Kreider. Boy, she played that third baseman like the great third baseman, Brooks Robinson. The human vacuum cleaner. Here's Kaylee Harsh. She drew a walk her first time up. So 2 quick outs. First pitch. That is a strike call. 0-1 now. No balls and a strike. The 0-1. High fly ball. I think Garland has it. And there's the third out. A 1, 2, 3 inning goes Peru State. We're halfway home. Central Methodist 4. Peru State nothing. Metzger from King City, Missouri. That's in the northwest part of it between Stanberry and Cameron, Missouri on Highway 169 there. And of course, if you know King City, famous for the windmills. They always have some of the prettiest windmills you will ever seen down the highway as you head toward Maryville. And I can tell you this, I can remember my dad used to take pictures of it. Before he passed away, he used to have a picture on his phone of a windmill there. And I'm sure my mom, Velda, has taken a picture of it along with my sisters, I think Rachel and Belinda. And I'm sure several of my family members have taken a picture of an actual windmill. It is really exciting to watch if you ever had a chance to go down 169 on Highway 169. She is 4-10 with a 7 ERA, 23 strikeouts. So 3 innings from their starting pitcher, Emily Van Natta. Here's Daly Garland. She grounded out the first, her first time up. First pitch to her. There's a strike call, 0-1 now. Central Methodist got 1 in the first on the infield single by Joe Kreider. Then 3 more there on the single by Madison Roberts. And a 2-run double by Lauren Hill. 0-1 the count. Here's a high pop-up. First baseman calls for it, but it hits the top of the dugout of the softball complex. Oh and 2 the count on Daly Garland from Woolridge, Illinois. The first time I learned that one from watching WGN Weather with meteorologist Tom Skilling. 0-2 the count. Ball 1, 1-2 the count. Of course, I remember from a year ago. Of course, one of her favorite teams is the Chicago Blackhawks, the National Hockey League. 1-2 the count. High pop-up. First baseman calls for it, makes a basket catch for out number 1 there. There's Kalina Oos, 1 for 2 with a double. First pitch. Tries down the bunt, but a foul ball. Strike 1. On 1 the count. 0-1 pitch. Tries the bunt. And that's a ball. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kalina Oots. The 1-1. Ooh, outside. 2-1 now. 2 balls and a strike on Kalina Oots. From Kansas City, Missouri. Went to Staley High School. I know a lot of her family members are here for senior day as well. 2-1 pitch. Oh, bounces up there. Luckily, Kalina could have taken a 9-iron and probably golfed it. She probably would have golfed it maybe 275 yards off a tee. 3-1 the count. 3-1. Ball 4. Take your base. So Oots is on with a 1-out walk. Here's Casey Jolly. 1 for 2 with a single. Here's Jolly. Tied with Palumbo for the team lead in RBIs with 33. She also leads the team in home runs with 12. That's a ball, 1-0 to count. Bottom of the 4th inning, Central Methodist 4, Peru State nothing. Quentin Norris on the catbird seat. Oots at first with 1 out. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 to count. You wonder with Oots' speed, if she can put it in the gap, say between center and right, or down the deep area right field, she could score from first on a double. 2-0 pitch. It's a high fly ball in the center field. Center field calls for it, makes the catch. Oots hustles back to first for out number 2. So 2 outs now. Here's Elizabeth Palumbo, 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch. Ball 1, 1-0 to count. 1-0 the count on Elizabeth Palumbo. Where's number 23? Like another famous 23, Don Mattingly from the New York Yankees. Boy, he was a fun little first baseman there. The 1-0. It's a ground ball. Nice stop by the second baseman. Throws the first for the 3rd out. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left. We're through 4. Central Methodist 4. Peru State nothing. You could say that, yeah. Mostly Cardinals, Dodgers, and the Royals. Very as Leanne Hawkins up there. She's 1 for 2 with a single. First pitch to her. It's a ground ball, base hit, 2 for 3 with 2 singles here. Four hits now for Central for Peru State. Here's Jessica Filkin, 0 for 2. First pitch to her. I think that hit her. So now first and second, nobody out like there was in the first inning, where they had 2 on, nobody out. St. Louis defeated the Seattle Kraken 4-1. Ellie Oldie up there, 1 for 1 with a single. First pitch to her. High pop-up, and Guerrero calls for it. Makes the catch. We're out number 1. So 1 out now in the top of the 5th inning. Scotty Scheffler is even today, 7 under through 5. Autumn Dixon 1 for 2 with a single. First pitch to her. Swing and a miss. 0-1 to count. Some scores update. Boston leads the Los Angeles Angels 5-2. That's in the bottom of the 7th inning, top of the 8th inning. Baltimore leads Milwaukee 5-4. 0-1 now. Fouls it to the screen, 0-2. Top of the 9th inning, Pittsburgh leads Philadelphia 7-2. Bottom of the 8th inning, Toronto leads Colorado 4-0. Bottom of the 8th inning, Miami leads Atlanta 7-6. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 call, so 2 outs now. Bottom of the 6th inning, no score between Kansas City and the New York Mets. Bottom of the 8th inning, Detroit leads Minnesota 4-3. There's Jamie Manns, 0 for 1. 8th inning, Detroit leads Minnesota 4-3. Top of the 8th inning, Yankees and the Guardians 4-4. Bottom of the 7th inning, Tampa Bay leads San Francisco 8-3. 1-1 to count. Bottom of the 6th inning, Cincinnati leads Chicago 6-2. Chicago White Sox, that is. Top of the 7th inning, Houston leads the Texas Rangers 5-2. Strike is the call. 1-2 now. Coming up at 3 p.m., we got Washington and Oakland, Cubs and Mariners. Ground ball, just a base hit there. They're going to hold the runners there. Kind of gets away. But now the bases are loaded and 2 outs for Alina Babb, who is 0 for 2. So 5 hits already for Peru State. Babb struck out her first time up. Cardinals and Diamondbacks starting at 3 p.m. Also the Sunday nighter, San Diego and the Los Angeles Dodgers. 1-0 to count. One and 0 to count. Bases loaded. Second time they had the bases loaded. That came in the first inning with 2 outs and no runs scored. Swing and a miss when Babb struck out. One and 1 to count. The 1-1. Babb takes a strike. 1-2. 1-2 to count. 1-2 pitch. Outside. 2-2 now. Two and 2 to count. 2-2 pitch coming up. Popped it up. Guerrero calls for it. Makes the catch. So no runs on 2 hits. No errors and 3 left on. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Central Methodist 4. Peru State nothing. That's a 4 runs, 5 hits, and an error for Central Methodist. No runs, 5 hits, and no error. Madison White 0 for 1. Walk in the first. White. First pitch to White. Ball 1, 1-0. If Central Methodist can get 4 runs here, we can end it on an 8-run rule. Central Methodist baseball lead 9-7. Top of the 7th inning in Marshall. Fouls it off. 1-1 now. Of course, yesterday it was Nate Breland's birthday. Of course, a happy birthday to our great friend Nate, who has done great things. So continue winning. 1-1 the count. The 1-1. Oh, that hit her. And I believe that's probably the 3rd time we have seen Central Methodist player get hit by a pitch. There's Joey Kreider. Now it looks like we may see a substitute. Kreider 1 for 1. Single, drove it around. She was hit by a pitch. Emily Sheffield is the courtesy runner. Let me see if I got my numbers straight. 3 times we have seen Central Methodist get hit by a pitch. And the pitch tour. There's a strike call. 0-1 on Joe Kreider. Oh, and 1 the count. Here's the 0-1. That's outside. 1-1 now. On deck is Madison Roberts. 1-1 now on Joe Kreider. Madison White was hit by a pitch. 4 runs, 5 hits, and an error for Central Methodist. No runs, 5 hits, and no errors for Peru State. That's outside. 2-1 the count. I'm at the 5th inning. Here on this Sunday afternoon. Of course, I know a lot of them are watching the Masters Golf Championship on CBS from the Butler Cabin with host Jim Nance. There goes a stolen base for Madison White, and the count is 2-2. 2-2 the count. Two balls and 2 strikes. White's at second. Base hit could score Madison White. Here's your 2-2. High pop up. Left fielder calls in and makes the catch for out number 1. So 1 out now for Madison Roberts. 1 for 2 with a single and RBI. And for Madison Roberts, that's number 27. Left-handed hitter from Elkhart, Illinois. I remember the times I remember Elkhart was watching the Bozo Show where they had a game called the Grand Prize Game. That's outside for a ball. And if your name gets on, you went there and you pick an at-home player. And that tells you, and Bozo the Clown will announce who the at-home player was and what town they were from. That's where I learned Elkhart, along with Joliet, Skokie, Sterling, Woodridge, Naperville, and many other towns there on the Bozo Show. 1-1 the count. On deck is Lauren Hill. Sheffield's at second, the courtesy runner for Madison White. Trying to add another run on the board there. 1-1 the count. The 1-1. Hits the ground ball to second. Second baseman has it, throw the first for out number 2. So 2 outs now. Here's Lauren Hill. 1 for 1 with a double, 2 RBI. She was also hit by a pitch in the second inning. And at third base is Emily Sheffield. First pitch to her. Fouls it off. 0-1 now. Of course, 6 days from now, of course, the Cardinals game should be getting underway in about 7 minutes there down in Arizona. They lost last night 4-0. Sheffield's at third. Here's the 0-1. A swing and a miss. 0-2. Fooled him a little bit. Oh, and 2 the count. On Lauren Hill. The 0-2. Nice stop there by the catcher. Kept it in front, and the count is 1-2. Looks like Natalie Guerrero is on deck. 1-2 the count to Lauren Hill. Bottom of the 5th inning, 4-0 Central Methodist. Started at 1:56 p.m. The 1-2. It's a high pop-up to center field. Center fielder goes back, looks, and he makes the catch right in front of the warning track for the third out. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on. We head to the top of the 6th inning. Central Methodist 4 and Peru State nothing. Do. 4 runs, 5 hits, and an error for Central Methodist. No runs, 5 hits, no errors for Peru State. Here's Kylie Weiss. 0 for 2. Flew out to Oots in the second. Then flew out to Casey Jolly in the 4th. First pitch to her. That's a ball. 1-0 now to Kylie Weiss. Central Methodist baseball should be coming to a close. It was 9-7 heading to the top of the 7th inning. There's a whole pop up there. Palumbo. Oh, makes a beautiful catch there. And as the great Mel Allen would say on This Week in Baseball, how about that? There's Kylie Dickman, 0 for 2, struck out in the 2nd, lined out to Joe Kreider in the 4th. Ferris is in control, trying to keep it where it is. Fouls it to the screen. In front of 42,000 fans, and of course, millions are watching on television. Spending the Sunday afternoon, of course, also you got the Masters Golf Championship. That's a bit high, 1-1 in the count. I think Scotty Scheffler is still up with a 1-stroke lead heading into the 7th hole. Strike 1 and 2 now. Kaylee Harsh is on deck. 1 and 2 the count. 1-2. Fouls it off. 1 and 2. Just to increase the tension. Of course, they'll have the senior day. Looks like something wrong with Hallie Ferris. Looks like Madison White's just checking on her. At least we don't have to have Dr. Graney come out there and check. The 1-2 swing and a miss. There's strike 3. So 2 quick outs now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 strikeouts. There's Kaylee Harsh, 0 for 1, walked in the 2nd, flew out to Daly Garland in the 4th. First pitch, a swing and a miss, 0-1 now. Yeah, 0-1 the count. Here's the 0-1. That's a ball, 1-1 now. 1-1 on Kaylee Harsh. 1-1 pitch. Lines it to Oates. Makes the running catch. A 1-2-3 inning goes Peru State. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-0 Central Methodist. Bottom of the 6th inning now. Four, 5-1 for Central Methodist. No runs, 5 hits and no errors for Peru State. There's Natalie Guerrero, 0 for 2. Of course, bottom of the 7th inning, 2 outs. Central Methodist leads Missouri Valley 9-7. First pitch to her. Swing and a miss. Boy, she was way early. Strike 1. 0-1 the count. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. High fly ball. Right fielder calls for it, and there's out number 1. So 1 out now. Here's Daly Garland, 0 for 2, grounded out to first. Actually, a new hitter there. That's Chelsea Gleba. 1 for 3 on the year from Battle High School. First pitch. It's a ground ball to third. Third baseman has it. Throw the first, and there's out number 2. So 2 quick outs now. Here's Kalina Oots, 1 for 2 with a double. And also drew a walk in the 4th. Central Methodist got 1 in the first on the infield single by Joe Kreiner. Then 3 more in the 3rd. A single by Madison Robertson. A 2-run double by Lauren Hill. Oots tries to do the old Maury Wills play where she runs up and bunts. And that is we don't 1-0 the count. The 1-0 tries the bunt, lays out a beautiful bunt. She might beat it out. She does. Holy cow, she did. On a bunt single. First hit since the Lauren Hill double in the 3rd inning. And now Casey Jolly up there, 1 for 3. First pitch. There goes Ooze. She's in there. A stolen base. Boy, she ran on the first pitch there. Boy, she runs well. I would tell you, she reminds me of Lou Brock, who played for the Cardinals back in the 60s. Oh, yeah, he was fun to watch on television. Back in the 60s, in the 70s, the 01. That kind of gets away. Here comes Oots. She's singing 3. She is in there. Boy, she read that one perfectly. Boy, she has a mindset that reminds you of Ricky Henderson. Baseball's all-time stolen base king. 1-1 the count. 1-1 pitch. 2-1 the count. Palumbo on deck. Looks like the count is 3-0 there on Jolly. (3-0). Ball 4 now. So a walk by Jolly. And now Palumbo up there, 0 for 3 on the day. Grounded out in the 1st. Struck out in the 3rd. Grounded out to 2nd in the 4th. You wonder they may pull the old double steal trick. The last player ever stole home in the World Series, Tim McCarver did in Game 7 in the 1964 World Series. That was in Game 7 against the New York Yankees. There's a high fly ball. It is over the head of the center fielder. Oots will score. Here comes Jolly. She scores. A 2-run double makes it 6-0 Central Methodist. And 35 RBIs now for Elizabeth Palumbo. Now here's Madison White, 0 for 1. Walked in the 1st, popped to the first baseman, hit by a pitch in the 5th. First pitch to her. There's a strike. You remember last year in the opening game of that World Series against Baker, hit a 2-run homer. What a way to, could we end it with a home run? We'll wait and see. The count is 0-1. The 0-1. That's strike 0-2 now. Palumbo has 35 RBIs on the year. Oh and 2 the count. The 0-2. Fouls it off there. Or as Joe Garagiola would say on NBC television, that is called protecting the plate. Oh and 2 the count. At second base is Elizabeth Palumbo. The 0-2. High fly ball in the center field. Center fielder gets some room right in front of the track for the third out. But 2 runs on just 3 hits. 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 1. We head to the top of the 7th. Central Methodist 6. Peru State nothing.
Takes this shot, whips it in, and it's in the back of the net!
Here is Leanne Hawkins, 2 for 3 with 2 singles on the day. Of course, after this, we'll recognize seniors in some Yogi Bear cartoon where Yogi Bear meets Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Strike 1 is the call there. You ever seen that one? 0-1 the count, the 0-1 now. Ground ball, that is Kreider to Palumbo, 1 down now. Here is Jessica Filkin, 0 for 2, reached on an error in the first, struck out, and then hit by a pitch in the 5th. First pitch. There's a strike call, 0-1 now. I think Central Methodist Baseball won 9-7. They're 33-7 and 19-4 in the conference. They're top by at least a game over Mid-American Nazarene. Strike 2 there. Baseball, they're next up there. It's a big 4-gamer on Saturday at Benedictine. 0-2 pitch. Hits the ground ball to Joe Kreider. To Palumbo, 2 quick outs. Just needs 1 more to go. And listen to these 40,000 fans here at the Cox Softball Complex. Millions are watching on television across the world, most notably in Hallie Ferris's hometown of Camdenton, Missouri. As Ellie Oldie up there, 1 for 2 with a single. Here's the pitch. Strike call. Cox Softball Complex shivering with its concrete foundations. 0-1 the count. 0-1. Strike 2. 0-2 the count. Oh and 2 the count. Here is the pitch. Ground ball, foul, just to increase the tension. 0-2 the count. Autumn Dixon is on deck. 0-2 the count. The 0-2. Ground ball. That is White to Palumbo. Not in time. An infield hit there. That is their first hit since the 5th inning. 6 hits already, and here's Autumn Dixon. 0 for 2, struck out in the 1st. Actually 1 for 3, single in the 3rd, and struck out in the 5th. The pitch to her. Ball 1, 1-0 to count. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 to count. 1 more out to go. Here's the pitch. Lines a shot. There's a base hit. Now it's 2 on and 2 outs there. 2 straight hits there. That's 7 hits already. There's Jamie Manns, 0 for 1 for 2. Walked in the 1st. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Singled in the 5th. Ferris needs 1 more out. Here's the pitch. Popped it up. Garland. Yes, sir. A victory for Central Methodist. No runs on just 2 hits. No errors. And they leave 2. Central Methodist wins it 6-0. We'll give you the final line, though. 6 runs, 7 hits, and an error. No runs, 7 hits, and no errors for Peru State. Central Methodist with the victory. They're 13-0 in the conference, 32-3. Peru State is 1-14, 4-35. Of course, the big hitting star there for Central